When discussing the Resident Evil game series, I rarely hear people bring up Resident Evil 3, like at all. For some reason, it seems to be the redheaded stepchild of the series. I can't lie, this counts for me too. I remember playing the original RE1, 2, 4, and 5 clearly, but I don't ever remember playing or talking about Resident Evil 3. If you're new here, welcome. If not, welcome back. Please hit the like button and subscribe, and let me know in the comments what game you want to see me talk about next. Alright, let's get into it. The original Resident Evil 3 game was released all the way back in 1999 for the original PlayStation console. The RE3 Remake was released in 2020 and, like the original, was a survival horror game developed and published by Capcom. The game is currently available on PS4, 5, Xbox One, and Series S and X, Nintendo Switch, and PC. The game has the same premise of the original, but some things have been changed around to make the story a little more streamlined. Jill Valentine is back from the first Resident Evil game as the main protagonist and one of the two characters that you can control throughout the game. There's a supporting character named Carlos that works with Jill at times and you can control for short periods of time throughout the game. Carlos is a former mercenary that currently works for Umbrella, though he doesn't completely know the role of Umbrella in the current predicament of Raccoon City. The game introduces the infamous Resident Evil villain, Nemesis, into the series. A scene from the game is actually going viral on Twitter right now of Nemesis chasing Jill around. Nemesis is way scarier than Mr. X from Resident Evil 2. He's pretty much chasing Jill around the entire game. Bro definitely has a one-track mind, and his objective is to get rid of her. The game takes place right before the events of Resident Evil 2. Jill gets attacked by Nemesis in her apartment, and the game gets going.
Let me grab mine.
Umbrella, a pharmaceutical company, have turned the residents of Raccoon City into walking zombies. Nemesis seemed to be programmed to take out all members of the Raccoon City Police Department's Special Tactics and Rescue Services team, also known as STARS. Jill is the last member left of this team. She's running from Nemesis when she runs into Carlos, who is again a mercenary currently working for a team, working for Umbrella. Jill decides to help Carlos and his team get the subway running so they can evacuate the remaining citizens from the city. You'll spend a brief amount of time in a familiar place, the Raccoon City Police Department. This is where a lot of the events of Resident Evil 2 took place. Some of the things that you'll have to do here is tied to Resident Evil 2 and why the police department looks the way it does in that game. There are a couple different locations that you'll have to travel to. You'll probably spend most of your time running around the streets of Raccoon City. But you'll also have to spend time in the sewers, subway tunnels, the hospital, and the secret lab underground. The game is a third-person shooter. Like all of the other Resident Evil games, you'll have to explore the environment, pick up items to be able to get to other locations, and solve puzzles. Of course, you'll also have to take out the undead, but that goes without saying. You have your typical arsenal: pistols, assault rifles, shotguns, grenade launchers, and a magnum. You also have throwable grenades that you can use. Ammo is not infinite, so you have to use wisely. You start with a pistol, and you have to find the other weapons as you explore and move along in the story. You also have your typical Resident Evil crafting: combining herbs to make first aid, combining gunpowder to make different types of ammunition, and combining different explosives to make grenade rounds. Nemesis is definitely the star of this game though. The original game was even named Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. He stalks Jill pretty much the entire game. Running from him definitely gets your adrenaline going, and he won't stay down for nothing. You have some legendary battles with him though. The game does feel a little short. The story takes about 6 hours to complete. If you want to 100% everything, it'll take you up to about 20 hours. They cut some of the different locations and boss fights from the original game to make this version more concise. But that's probably the thing that most people complain about most about this game. But overall, I enjoy Resident Evil 3, even more than I was expected to. It's a good Resident Evil game, just a little short. If you're a fan of the Resident Evil series, I recommend playing this. Now, with all that being said, I give Resident Evil 3 Remake a 7.5 out of 10. If you made it this far, thanks. Please leave a like and subscribe. And let me know in the comments what you think about Resident Evil 3 the Remake. Or what game you'd like to see me talk about next. Also, still be on the lookout for the anime channel. Got that coming soon. Alright, until next time, we're out. Peace.